Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more. Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and FutureTech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first. In their covered wagons, they find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's blockchainfuturetechexpo.com. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FutureTech Podcast. I'm your host, Juliette Lamar, and on the line with me today, I have Ralph Liu. He is the founder and CEO at MuleChain. Hello, and welcome, Ralph.
Thank you, Juliette.
So, Ralph, why don't you go ahead and paint the picture for us of what MuleChain is? What do you do there?
Okay, so where are you based, Juliette?
I'm in Los Angeles.
You're in Los Angeles. Okay, so say next week you're going to fly to London. Once you finish booking your trip, your itinerary on Expedia.com, for example, so at the click of a button, your itinerary will be transferred to MuleChain platform. So once you own the MuleChain token, then somebody will know your itinerary. There could be somebody, his daughter is studying at university in London. Then he will contact you directly on a peer-to-peer basis. So you both agree, he will pay you $100. So the ticket could only cost you, maybe $500. You will get 20% of your trip cost subsidized. So once you agree, you will be in the mule.
And is it mostly for travel, or is it any kind of data sharing across the world?
So that could be anything, Right now, we're just focusing on this white space. There's literally zero competition in the world in this concept. And once we build the platform, it's an ecosystem that anybody can use the same platform with the requesters through a mule. Then we have another pack station concept. So through this whole platform, people can use it for, last mile e-commerce delivery service. Or people can use it just to disrupt the current local messenger and delivery business, the on-demand delivery services. So let's say in the previous example, once the requester is interested in the working with you, so she will actually, that person will actually open up just a mobile phone, and once you open up the map, you will find out the nearest pack station around you. So instead of just meeting the mule, because right now, like on Craigslist, you meet people you don't know, and the other side could be a criminal for whatever reason, So it's much safer just to drop your stuff in a nearby pack station. Then the mule will go there to pick it up, then fly to London. So the mule basically either delivers let's say a jacket for his daughter, studying in the university in London. He will either just deliver to the daughter directly or can drop out at the pack station in London. Then the daughter will go to the pack station to pick it up. So in this example, for example, the requester drop off the jacket will pay the pack station owner $10. Then the mule go there and pick it up. If he flies to London, he uses another pack station. He will probably pay another $10 or £8, in London. So net, he will still get the $90 for his service.
Wow.
Yeah. So I see the same service you can apply to many, the scenario. And one of the most direct, application is basically for people to arbitrage the prices. So, for example, the iPhone here costs about, roughly $1,000. So somebody in China, in Moscow, in Russia, they could actually buy it online, then just appoint a mule to pick it up. So then the mule pick it up, unpack it, unlock it, and bring to Moscow. If people buy it over there, it's going to cost them twice as much, So these are just some of the simple examples what people can use it.
Wow. So you really are disrupting courier services. You're a different form of courier service.
That's correct. It's just a very generic way using the peer-to-peer decentralized services. In this way, we literally just mobilize the whole world's population,
Mm-hmm.
So that's our aim, to really target over 90% of the world's population eventually, because one way or another in somebody's lifetime, they can use the service, or they can even work for themselves on the MuleChain. Remember, they don't work for MuleChain. They only work for themselves, on this platform, on this ecosystem. So comparing, let's say, a mule, right? I'm sure you have heard of Uber Eats, Uber Rush.
Mm-hmm.
If you work for Uber, you probably need to own a car. But if you work for yourself as a mule on the platform, all you need is just a subway token, a train ticket, a flight ticket, or just your own legs, You can generate income.
Wow.
So this is really like a package and parcel equivalent of a Uber. On the other hand, if you look at the pack station concept, so anybody can become a pack station owner on the MuleChain platform. So you can sign up, but you don't really have to open a commercial, a drop-off place. You can just switch it on, and then let's say today you're home, tomorrow you're home. You switch on for 2 days. Then anybody want to drop off and pick up something, you can generate income. So think about the pack station. It's sort of like an Airbnb for your package and parcels. So Airbnb lets you to stay overnight or short term, but the MuleChain will allow you package and parcel to stay overnight.
Wow. And let's focus on it being a pack station. So say you would like to be a pack station from your home or your business. Do you set requirements as to how long a package can stay there? Or like when you receive a package, does it say receiving package will be picked up within X amount of days?
Very interesting question, Julia. The key differentiator from this MuleChain platform is decentralization. It's peer-to-peer. Although we will set guidelines at the recommendation, but we do not dictate how they do business. All we do is just ensure the legitimacy and transparency on the platform. People don't use it for any criminal purposes, for example. But as far as the pricing, what type of item they would accept, it's really up to them on the peer-to-peer basis.
So if I wanted to, using the example before, send a jacket to someone in London, I have the jacket at my home. I take it to a pack station that could be my neighbor, and I drop it off.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some kind of tracking that I can have on my item, or is there an estimated, do I get notified when my mule picks it up and then drops it off?
That's exactly where the whole blockchain concept comes in. Through the smart contracts, all these transactions will be captured and handled by the smart contract automatically.
Got it.
So, for example, if you're a mule, then once you agree with the transaction, so the requester need to hold enough MuleChain token, the MCX, then that $100 in the previous example will be held in escrow by the smart contract and will not be released until the package or the jacket in this example being delivered to the daughter in London. So similarly, for the pack station owner, and they get paid, let's say $10 in each the example. So their payment will be handled by the smart contract automatically, and from either the mule to drop off or the requester to drop off.
Got it. And as a pack station, you set your own fees you were mentioning.
Correct. And the type of transaction you would accept and the time you want to do the business. So let's say next week, you're going to be a mule yourself. You're going to be on vacation in Paris, for example. So you switch off your pack station. You turn yourself to be a mule in that instance.
So it's very liquid. You can do multiple things.
On your cell phone, right? On your mobile phone. So that's where we plan to target, and mostly the less affluent people in the developing countries. So eventually, let's say in South America, in Southeast Asia, or in Africa, a lot of people don't even have a desktop computers. So they have a vibrant mobile economy. So these systems, through the blockchain, will provide an alternative trust system that could potentially replace their, current the postal package system. So in many countries, all those postal systems, the people just don't trust them, So that's why, we wanted this token to become a utility token. The entire service not just become another rich man's club, We want the mule and the pack station to become a day-to-day service that people enjoy.
Because you're helping out your fellow human and hopefully getting them their goods faster than shipping it through a standard way of shipping it, because it's changing hands and people are taking it the quickest, most efficient way possible, instead of it sitting in a warehouse and then getting shipped out on a plane and all of that. Correct.
Yeah. And along the way, once you drop off, you take a picture so you can actually monitor, the whole process. But so this is actually the one part of it, right? This is some new services for the first time to be able to provide to the consumers on a worldwide basis. But think about the transformative power of this new service. Think about how many jobs this can create, So let's say mules, the entire traveling, the travelers around the world, including the airline crew themselves, anybody can generate additional income, legitimately. So this is one way. But on the other hand, think about the pack station. How many people, senior citizens, handicapped people sitting at home doing nothing, they cannot go out to get a job. But anybody can use their mobile phone to switch on to work as a pack station owner, from time to time. They don't have to commit to anything. As long as they're staying home 2 or 3 days, they can switch it on to generate some income for themselves.
Absolutely. It's very empowering and flexible for people, like you mentioned, who might have a disability or are not able to do a regular type of job.
Yes. But on the other hand, and that's why you were asking, in the future, once we create the platform, the whole technology, right, the convenience for people to use it, then there's no limit where people can apply this to. So the pack station owner, it could be a lot of, small business owner. Currently, they're paying high rent just to maintaining a restaurant, right? Or they do a nightclub, a bar or something. They only generate business in the evening. During the day, it's all empty. So whether you have a gas station, you have a restaurant, you can actually set yourself up as a semi-professional, pack station. So really, there's how you can apply this concept to, However, as a business, in the beginning, we just focus on the cross-border mule because that's a white space. There's literally zero competition. But once we, again, establish the whole platform and build the technology, people can use it for any purpose, including even eventually the trucking companies, the shipping company, the air cargo company, and or the latest development with all the technology, the drone delivery. So the key concept is we are providing the platform for anybody to do on the P2P basis. Right now, there's a rush for a lot of, again, centralized corporations to develop the drone technology for delivery. But on our platform, we will allow any entrepreneur to set up his own drone to deliver, to compete with the giant corporation.
Exactly. So when someone wants to be involved in this, they think this is a great idea, and they're saying, okay, I'm going to be a mule, and then when I'm home, I'm going to do a pack station. What kind of security measures do you go through and vetting process to become a pack station or a mule? And because safety is my thing. If I wanted to become a pack station at my home, I guess my number one concern would be who's picking up the packages.
Okay. So the KYC, the AML, all those procedures are very, very important for us. So that's probably the number one thing. We want to make this whole operation legitimate, And so technology-wise, yes, other than the KYC, but also in terms of the risk management, there are two types of risk, and as far as doing a delivery of a package. The traditional damage risk, you can just use the traditional, the PNC insurance policy, just the same way as you would send a package from UPS or from FedEx. And so that's to protect the damage risk or the lost, stolen risk. But the other major component, which can be handled by the smart contract on the blockchain, is called the fraud risk. So how do we manage the fraud risk? In the previous example, I was saying somebody working as a mule to bring an iPhone to Moscow. Then this mule, he himself has to own enough MuleChain token to be set aside as a collateral, again to be held by the smart contract in escrow. So otherwise, if this mule pick up the iPhone, he just run away. What can you do with it? Yeah. So if he put up the equivalent amount of $1,000 of MuleChain token, then if he runs away, that $1,000 worth of MuleChain token will go back to the requester. So that's how we handle the risk management aspect of it. But another, sort of interesting concept to emphasize the key thing about this decentralization and how powerful this could be. I actually have one of my blog, on the Medium, and to explain this concept. So I don't know if you've seen some of the video posting on the Facebook. So one day I was just watching, I got inspired by this, whole episode. A professor take off a glass jar, asking the students. So as he filled off all the rocks into the glass jar up to the brim, so he asked the student, is the glass jar full? And the students say, yes, it looks like it's full. So then he would actually put in a lot of sand and gravels to fill the void, made by the rocks. He asked the student again, is the glass jar full? Then the students say, right now, yes, it is full now. So then the professor started pouring beer until it's up to the brim again. So he asked the same question, is the glass jar full? So this whole episode, is just perfectly explain what the difference between decentralization and the centralized corporate giants. So the rocks in the glass jar are the current corporate giants in the delivery business. No matter how big they become, there's always a void they will create for the decentralized mule or the P2P basis in the new gig economy to work for themselves to fill that void.
Absolutely.
Do you see that analogy?
Mm-hmm. It's a very good analogy.
Those mules and pack station, they would be the sands and the gravel, So for example, in the last mile delivery business, again, no matter how big the corporation could become, they cannot literally set up a big warehouse in every street corner in New York City or in London. But in that street corner, there could be hundreds of thousands of mules and pack station owners working for themselves. So they would be more than happy. Instead of charging $50, they say, hey, I can do it for $20 because I don't have to pay for the high rent for the big warehouse. I don't need to own a truck. I don't need to hire a truck driver. I just to pick it up myself, I walk to the buyer. So maybe they can do it for $10, for example. That's how the, P2P decentralization in the future, only those people can compete with the corporate giants.
Of course. And when you have a trust between the mules and the pack stations, and there's background checks to make sure that these people are good people, then you really are just people helping people.
Correct. Of course, we will put in the reputation credential management system, and everybody will be ranked, just like a current system that you see on eBay, on Uber,
Exactly. So you can give people ratings and rankings so that you have an idea of who this person is, who's coming to your house to pick up the package, and who's handling your goods. So where is MuleChain prevalent right now?
Well, right now we're preparing, and to launch the token sales, and sometime in the late July, and so at the moment we're just preparing for that event, and of course, but in the future, the way to operate it is basically one part is a decentralized blockchain on the P2P basis, but nonetheless, we will set up a service bureau, a centralized operation service bureau, to provide service and make sure this, decentralized operation will run smoothly, And also because of the KYC AML, we need to ensure everybody who participate in the new ecosystem are purely legit, So the type of activity that the service bureau will provide and is really just dispute resolution, customer service, and also, handle some of the marketing events. So at the moment, we have already set up, the plan is to have the U.S. and China for the three parts of the business. The number one being the cross-border mules, the number two being the last-mile e-commerce delivery business, and the part three being the disrupting the local delivery and messenger business. So only in the U.S. and China, we will implement the three parts, the complete business. But surrounding U.S. and China, the two world's biggest economy, we will have 10, right now we have already over 10 peripheral countries which only focus on the cross-border mule business. So in each of the country, you can take a look on our website, and we have already appointed a regional director and preparing all the different business planning in each territory. And at the moment after our token sales and after we launch the service, we can literally start executing the business right away.
Wonderful. It's just right around the corner. So how can people join the conversation about MuleChain and stay up to date with all the new things that are coming?
Well, that's exactly what we are doing currently. If you go to the website and join us in the community, in the telecom channels, and basically if you download the app and then give us feedback, and by the time we launch, the current target date is sometime in August or early September. And on the limited basis, in certain country, we're going to just run the 10 countries that I mentioned. Then, that's how people can join the community and give us feedback.
Absolutely, and they can start the process of moving the goods and services and being a part of it.
Yes. So, and for the time being, we haven't really, set up the token sale date yet. And because of the whole landscape of the ICO, has changed so much within the last couple of months. And so therefore, we're very, cautious in taking this approach. Whether we're going to raise funding through the conventional route from the VC route and for the centralized bureau, or we're going to continue to do the token sale as a utility token. So the token itself is going to be a prepaid membership concept, And there's a reason, because right now, based on the latest development for the regulatory framework, and the ICC in the U.S. is taking a position, literally even, all kinds of utility tokens, they will consider a security sales. So, of course, we would love to comply with that, but however, that really limited it to the service to be provided to the, as I said, the less affluent population in the developing country. And the last thing we want is this become another rich man's club, And that's why, either we're going to do the equity funding like Uber and Airbnb, or we're still going to have the utility token sale, because that's essential. There's a lot of economic value to have the MuleChain token so that the people can simply just use on their mobile phone to either deliver something, Think about all the potential applications. Think about what happened in Puerto Rico. During the disaster period, all of the traditional delivery services are already halted. So how can people send somebody to the loved ones in the disaster area, So there's a lot of use application for this. So that's one thing we're still trying to figure out. And if it is so difficult to provide the economic benefits in the current regulatory environment, we probably just have to launch it overseas first.
Mm-hmm. So what is the best way for people to to get in contact with you? Is it through the MuleChain website?
Yeah, through the MuleChain website, and there are links to all the communities that we're building. And as I said, just go there and then join the email list, and then we will keep them updated. But again, the targeted launch day is sometime in August or September.
This is such a wonderful and interesting idea, and I am excited to see where it goes and how I'm using it in the future myself. So thank you so much for telling us about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Julia.
Of course. That was Ralph Liu. He is the founder and CEO at MuleChain. Check it out. It's www.mulechain.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. This has been Juliet Lamar with FutureTech Podcast.
Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and FutureTech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first. In their covered wagons, they find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's blockchainfuturetechexpo.com. Thank you. You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.